Picture a standard classroom on a humid Monday morning. The fan overhead spins lazily. The teacher walks to the front of the room and announces a surprise test. Over by the window, a young student sparks to life. She sits up straight, eyes wide and focused. Her internal dialogue is pure readiness. Okay, let's see how much I remember. A few desks away, another student completely freezes up. His stomach tightens and his fingers drum rapidly against the wood. His immediate thought? Why today? I'm going to mess this up. Sitting in the same room, looking at the same teacher, about to take the same test. Yet they are generating contrasting physical and emotional responses. When you hold the external environment constant, a logical paradox emerges. If the outside world hasn't changed, an invisible internal variable must be driving these divergent experiences. You see this everywhere once you know to look for it. Take a chaotic family function. One sibling thrives right in the loud center of the living room. The other hits a sensory wall and escapes to an empty balcony after 20 minutes. Or listen to two friends discussing a movie they just watched. One effortlessly recalls specific dialogue and subtle visual details, while the other has already forgotten the main character's name. Even identical upbringings fail to produce uniform results. Two people can share the same household, eat the same food, and hear the same advice for 18 years, yet their minds develop unique patterns. Standardizing our physical spaces and daily routines fails to standardize the human mind. People are not built as copies of one another. Psychologists have a specific term for this constant hidden variance: individual differences. We easily accept biological variations. We know people have different heights, distinct voices, and different running speeds. But psychological variations operate quietly below the surface. Two minds can start at the same point and slowly branch out into unique network patterns of thinking, feeling, and learning. These networks are built from specific drivers: your intelligence, your personality structure, your emotional control, your creativity, and your natural aptitude. Together, these traits form a psychological lens. Information passes through this lens, filtering how you see, hear, and react to the world. We can see this lens under pressure. Think about exam season, a universally stressful, high-stakes deadline. The first operating style is the planner. This student generates calm by plotting out structured, color-coded schedules. For them, order provides a sense of safety. But look at the alternatives. One student is paralyzed until last-minute panic forces them to study. Another grasps complex concepts instantly, but struggles to write answers fast enough. A third looks relaxed, but internally they are comparing themselves to everyone else in the library. These students process the same high-stakes reality through distant psychological operating systems. Mapping these invisible variables explains why people navigate identical life events, from career shifts to social circles, with such varying levels of stress and success. Because these variables are invisible, it is easy to misread them if you only look at outward behavior. A quiet demeanor does not imply a weak mind, and highly talkative behavior is rarely a guarantee of true internal confidence. This chart shows how standard academic metrics fail. A single bar might measure raw memory, but the human mind requires a multi-axis scale to map out strengths like creativity, empathy, and leadership. The student failing mathematics might possess elite emotional intelligence, allowing them to read a room and defuse a conflict. The cousin with average report cards might be holding on to a brilliant artistic imagination. Human ability branches out into far too many dimensions to ever be accurately weighed by a single standardized test. Because people are not built in the same psychological shape, direct comparison is a flawed metric. Which brings us back to that humid Monday morning, the spinning ceiling fan, and the sudden surprise test. 30 people can walk into the same room, sit at identical desks, and face the same teacher. But because each person carries a uniquely wired mind, that single shared world creates